when I was younger, I always wanted to be a pilot. I think being a DJ has taken me closest to that. I can take you on a ride, take you to places. We can go high up there, or I can bring you all the way down. But, I've been doing this for 20 years, and I love it. But talking wasn't part of the deal. You'll excuse me. I think stages are very terrifying. But anyway, I've got used to it in a few. But let me take you on a small journey from my country, play you a sound that I made. I remixed. It's a track from an old Ugandan classic. Just so I can relax. Yes, that was an old classic song from Uganda that I remixed. Now, from the song of the past, I'll take you to the future. Women are mystically underrepresented in the electronic music scene and culture, both in DJing, production, and other backroom positions like bookings, management, and events. Just 8 out of the top 100 resident advisor DJs, 2016, were female, and only 1 in the top 20. Electronic music itself is still a toddler in Uganda and East Africa in general. But irresistible human forces, not African magic, has seen a rapid surge in the interest in the DJ culture and electronic music in the last 2 to 3 years in Kenya and Uganda. Chicago-based female DJ and activist Maria Stamper, aka the Black Madonna, has been one of the people at the forefront of pushing for this change. And numerous other organizations like Female Pressure, Mint Berlin, and many more who've provided networks and spaces for female DJs to perform and have networks. I kind of like the group Female Pressure, a global network for artists who have who come together. They've kicked up a stone since 1998 with the Perspectives Festival by providing spaces for these female DJs and performers. They've seen a multiplier effect in what they're doing. Femme Electronic is a big fan. Femme Electronic is a baby I dreamt of with a friend back in 2013, but we gave birth to it in 2016. It started as a project, a network to help female DJs with an interest to produce music, electronic music in East Africa. It involves training, showcases, residencies, artist management, bookings, and events, all aimed at addressing the gender imbalances in the music industry, especially DJing by females and the electronic music. We also aim for the introduction of film, photography, animation maybe later. From the past, girls have been largely taking up family hugging, careers, and being in the music industry is considered out of the norm. I guess I'm not one of the normal ones. But I wanted to have also the replication of the East African instruments and sounds in the music that we're doing. Then there are also no women at all doing, there are few of them doing photography or visual productions. One day I put out a call for photographers and only one girl turned up. I don't know what they were doing. I had an event that I wanted them to photograph. So anyway, I don't know, maybe the girls were busy doing astronomy or something else, I don't know. Maybe doctoring, not documents, but, you know. So I felt I could change this, you know, have them learn doing it and, you know, put them on a different platform. But let me get you acquainted with something from Uganda, a sample from Uganda called the Akogo. That's the Akogo. You can hear it in Uganda and parts of Kenya. We have some Kenyans in the house as well. And some Ugandans? There you go. Right. Let me give you a brief about my roots. Music has always been a big part of my life. I had a good childhood. My family was in the middle class, maybe you'd call it that. But when I was young, I had a bad relationship with my stepdad. You know, he would always beat me up like a drum whenever I felt like it. You know, Rachel, you've done this, bam. You've done this, bam. So I developed my love for drums from that, I guess. All right. Anyway, I was moved to stay with my aunt. Growing up with my aunt, having my own VCR, slotting in Bobby Brown dance videos, and dancing to it, you know. I knew all the dance moves. I love my VCR. My mom invited me one day to go for Christmas with my stepdad's family in the village, and I refused. I imagined there was no VCR. I'm like, nope, I won't go. My mom was purely heartbroken, and she disowned me for a good couple of months, but we made up later. But from my aunt and my grandma's place, I managed to go for my first gigs. I think from my auntie's place, I developed this huge, big love for music, you know. And as a younger DJ, I started out playing a lot of hip-hop songs, like if you've heard of maybe, I got 5 on it, have you any other? You know, I started out with that kind of thing. DMX, what you gonna do? Yeah. Were you guys slamming back then? Slam! Da, 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 da. Yeah, I was one of the boys, always slamming. So, yeah. Anyway, I was doing a lot of that as a younger DJ. So, my energy levels back then were really that high. Maybe I've grown a little older, lost some of it. I still dance a lot, even now. And I used to love doing what I did back then. I still love it, even up to now. Femme Electronic is something that that's encouraging. I've gone through a metamorphosis, and the girls are largely encouraged to do productions infused with the electronic, making music with electronic concept, but fused with the East African sounds and instruments from Uganda. And we've had multiple workshops facilitated by different DJs, like Mint, the very first one we had with DJ Ina Lind from Mint Berlin, herself a big pioneer in the DJ female movement in Germany. And then we had one with Uko Flani. We had one with the UK electronic producers, the Bleep Discs. I don't know if you've heard of them, but all the girls got to produce a very first song, their first time, a pilot song that day. We also had one with Resident Advisors Best DJ 2016, the Black Madonna, who curated one last December with us in Kampala. And then we've also had one with a DJ from Nairobi called Uko Flani from Disco Vumbi. And something came out of that as well. I'll play you something small that we did. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, it's not the best. It's still undergoing a metamorphosis, I should say. After, I mean, we've had all these workshops, all these people come in for free and give us all their, their minds, share their minds with us. And then I'm going to, let me take you to the sounds of Uganda. And the album that I'm trying to make called Shreds of Ganda. We want to sensitize the girls to love what they're doing and incorporate it with everything that they're doing. I'm trying to have them incorporate all these sounds in whatever they're producing, as well as when they're DJing, I want them to incorporate the African sound to whatever beat they're doing. I mean, it could get boring if somebody is listening to maybe Jamaican dancehall all the time, or maybe they love Niger music back in Kampala. Well, I guess they have some good sounds there. But if everybody, but if they could, I mean, infuse something from home, back home, from Kampala, from Uganda, where they come from, I guess it would make a lot of sense. It doesn't have to be the local cultural, traditional, just drumming, and then we go with that. I mean, it can be something very interesting, like electronic music, Afro Electronic. So I managed to capture a few sounds with a very good friend of mine, an instrumentalist from Kampala. He's a rising musician as well. It's called Giovanni Chiinji. So I recorded these sounds with him playing them. I'll play some of these sounds for you so you know what I'm saying. We've got the Back Simba from central Buganda. This is from Karamoja with a whistle. De la Raka Raka from northern Uganda. The Ngalabi from central Uganda. Then the Mlere. It's like a flute. Dingidi. And then we've got the local shakers. I'm going to take you through a process that's going to come out of all these sounds that you've had. I mean, the girls will also participate in production of parts of this album that I want to make, called Shreds of Ganda, like I told you. Most of them don't own laptops, so they're quite newbies. I might not let them touch my laptop. So, but anyway, they'll watch from a distance while we play the same beat over and over again. So we'll just keep doing that. I don't know if I'll have anybody left by the time we master one song, but it gets quite hectic when you're doing production, you know. So it's quite something that really is hard. But they'll catch up. Kampala might not get it at first. I mean, what we're doing. I love Kampala with all its, Rolex, chapati eggs rolled up. Have you eaten any Rolex? Have you heard of it? Yeah, it made it to CNN, best upcoming something, So they might not get it. It's a disorganized city of fun, and with all the border riders, the local bikes trying to run over your foot as you cross the road. The marabou stalks trying to steal your lunch as well. By the way, this is an everyday occurrence in Kampala. They might not get it, but they'll learn to love the beats eventually. The distribution of these tracks might be the problem there, because I'm thinking these online platforms don't really work. I don't get it, but I think they don't really work. And then, I mean, I have my debut album on these online platforms like iTunes, Amazon, everything. It didn't work for me, and it doesn't generate any money. At least that's what that's what most Africans think. It doesn't generate any money. Or maybe it didn't generate any money for me because that first album was crap, maybe. Or maybe because I was a freshman, just starting out in production, because this is just my second year doing production. But I know the very rich Ugandan culture will be heard by a global audience. I hope I'm not just dreaming that the sounds of the African drum and mulere are some of the best sounds that you can ever hear. So, right now, I want to play you a track that I've made. I'm going to play it live through Ableton Live. Then you hear what the future might sound like with the music. Okay. Thank you. I hope you liked it. Well, luckily, or by default, FEM Electronic has featured on several different events since its inception in 2016, like the Bayimba International Music Festival, then in 2016, the Nyege Festival in the small town of Jinja by the River Nile. Did you know it's the longest river in the world, and it starts in Uganda? And then we featured with the Black Madonna in a groundbreaking move on 8th March 2017. The Sman of Europe released a documentary about equalizing the women project with the Black Madonna, which came out on March 8th. And that was one of the multiply effects, I guess, of the project. I hope it can go on and bring different other good things. Thank you. I don't have so much time, so I think I'll leave you with that beautiful picture of the girls that have been in this project. And the future looks really bright. I hope we can carry it forward and have more girls enjoying this thing. Because I think DJs are brilliant people. They have an encyclopedic mind with all the music that's tucked in there. So I think we'll create a very big effect later on with the project. Thank you, and have a great night.